the capital program pool. Great, we're in your hands.
Morning. From a capital point of view, still currently forecasting for the core program somewhere around that 500, 510 as already explained. In terms of the milestones that was in the performance report that Peter talked to, yeah, a significant drop in where we are on the watch list projects in terms of milestones. That is because the 8 projects we added had a mix of 4 green, 2 amber and 2 red lights, as opposed to the ones we removed, which was 8, and that was 7 green and 1 red. So the mix compared with the previous month is quite different, and that's why there was a bit of a drop in that space. In terms of the rest of the program, the best part of 900 odd projects, almost the same as last month, so no significant change there. So I'll leave it at that, but any questions?
Thank you very much, Paul. A really good report. Does anyone have any questions on this? Yanni?
Cool. Are we able to get a bit more explanation about what's happening with Pages Road Bridge? Obviously, it's been turned to amber. Sorry, it's gone from amber to red.
Other way. It's gone from critical to at risk. It's actually going the other way.
Oh, okay.
It's got better.
It's got slightly better. Yeah.
It's moved from very concerned. Okay, Lynette, do you have anything you want to add?
I think the change is really only in the flag is really only relating to the budget and compare because it hasn't been sorted yet, and it's being sorted out as part of the annual plan.
Yep. Do you want to hang on. Do you want to just be? Sorry, can you be a bit clearer on that? So.
All right. So sorry. Let's give a little bit of context, if that's right. The business case for the Pages Road Bridge has been approved, and there is an agreed budget through that business case process. The tenders are in the market for both the principals advisor and for an EOI for the design and build teams, so they are in the market. So it is progressing well as a project. From a budget perspective, there was a budget assessment done with NZTA with a risk profile associated with that, and at the moment that budget and the budget that we have in our LTP don't line up. So we're working through that at the moment, and there are some proposals to change future years' budgets to ensure they align with what was proposed by NZTA. That is the whole of life budget, and includes the subsidy that we are getting back into council.
Which comes through as a revenue line, is it?
Which comes through as a revenue line, but we list the whole budget in our long-term plan.
Yep. So just in my real simple mind, so we're saying we're going out doing EOIs, we'll get quantum, we'll kind of largely know what the quantum is, then we'll rephase the budget to working with it.
Yep, that's exactly
so
right.
While it's at risk, it's really a timing issue as opposed to the project's off the rails type thing.
Absolutely.
Correct.
Yes.
Cool.
I'll just be clear around the financials. So the total budget forecast for the Pages Road Bridge project is 83.5 million.
Yes.
The financial status is showing red. Is that on the baseline budget of 67, or is that on the 83.5?
No, on the baseline budget of 67.
Right.
So the total forecast is 83. That aligns with the NZTA business case.
Yep.
And the budget that we have on budget is 67.
Right.
And we are working with our consultants and our contractors to narrow that difference up.
And the neighbouring streets and the improvements that are associated as part of this project have been removed from that financial budget, or they're still within it?
The ones that are required to ensure that the function of the bridge and the intersection upgrade occur and are successful are in it. The ones that aren't are separate.
Right. So what's the total cost based on the design that we've approved?
Well, haven't we just answered that? Aren't you going through that at the moment?
Don't know. We must know what the cost is of the thing that we've approved.
I thought that was, unless I, again, like yesterday was dreaming, Didn't we say you're going through an EII process to literally land the prices to rephase the budget?
Yes, we are.
But we
Okay,
must
so
have
we'll
a
move on now.
quantum.
Melanie and then Celeste. Yep.
So I've got a question for Lily too, but as understanding, it talks about on page, page 77, about New Zealand, NZTA handing over recently revocated roads, and then it's got the variance. I don't even know what that really means.
So state highways that are state highways and then become not state highways are revoked to become local roads.
So what's an example in Christchurch?
Johns Road, Main North Road,
Oh, they're on your side.
the piece of Johns Road from the Shell station out to the state highway, out to the motorway.
Right.
So those are two big sections that have been revoked or have to go through the process of revocation. So we're working through that with NZTA at the moment. They have to go through a process. The revocation process is their responsibility. They need to do that, and it needs to go to the minister to get signed off.
So why do they do this? It's giving us more expense, but also control. But why does this happen?
Because they are no longer actually functioning as as part of the state highway network. They become a local road network.
Cool. Celeste.
Can I just double check the timeline? Did you say that that is likely to come back to council, an update on that? Once you've finished with the expressions of interest, will that come back to council sort of early next year? Do you know when that might close?
I'm sorry, councillor, what project?
For Pages Road Bridge.
Oh, sorry, How
long will that go out to market for?
So there's an expression of interest in the market at the moment that's being assessed for the principal's advisors, and we've been to council with the procurement plan. We will be giving you regular updates throughout this, and it'll come back when we are looking to award a contract for the design build contract.
Okay.
And in the interim, it'll be reported as part of the watch list
Sure.
every month as part of this report.
Okay, great. And just the stuff that sits out, so picking up on Councillor Johansson's question, the ancillary works that aren't covered by the funding, NZTA funding, will we get a report back on what that will look like as part of the annual plan prior to the adoption of the draft? Because if we need to add in budget to address the additional works, we need to know what that looks like in practice.
I think correct me if I'm wrong,
We'll have to come back.
but the beauty is that that work's not going to be done this next financial year anyway.
Correct. So it would be more a part of the LTP process.
Yeah.
So we wouldn't be looking to add budget for those works this annual plan?
No.
Okay, thank you.
Cool. Thanks, Celeste. I've got Melanie and then I've got Mr. Mayor.
Sorry, I have to ask about this because it's a local one. This is parks. About the Hoon Hay Sports Pavilion and toilets because it's on our list. It's you just explain about the variance in the budget there.
Might be Rupert.
Sorry, I didn't quite catch that catch.
Oh, Hoon Hay, the pavilion. Yeah, it's got a delay there. So can you explain it?
We're just working through a few options to get the best outcome, but the project is progressing. We just haven't finalised that.
Okay.
Cool. And I've got Mr. Mayor to be the last one.
Yes, absolutely. Thanks, Lynette. Oh, she's gone. Just the old favourite Pages Road Bridge. Have we started, and we might not be able to, but I'd like to think we can, putting in a consent to ECAN, because knowing how long it sometimes takes for them to get stuff through, a la South Shore Edge. Have we put in for a consent for this bridge yet? Because, no, and do we have to wait until we get the design for the bridge before we can give it to them?
So part of the process and part of the risk that we identified through our, we did identify consenting risk as a risk through the process. And part of that is, part of that risk is predicated on what the construction methodology is and whether they have to build in the river or can build beside the river, and so all of that is dealt with as part of the design process. So that's why we are looking very early to get our contractors on board as a design build
So in theory,
style contract.
hopefully have it as one span going across the river so that we can work on either side of the river and not stuff around in the middle.
That risk and managing that risk is definitely going to be something that our design teams have to take on.
Excellent, thank you.
Cool. And I've got Yanni not on Pages Road Bridge.
No, not on Pages Road Bridge. So just in terms of page 101 and 100, just so the first one's the Grassmere weather storage facility, where we need additional budget. Has that is that being covered by the developers or by central government funding, or is that a cost that's now falling on us? Because I mean, when you read the additional budget is being sought following completion of digital design in order to mitigate the poor underlying ground conditions, lack of access and lack of services to the site. These are all risks that some of us raised at the time that this was being given approval, and now we've got a budget increase because of it. I'm just wondering, like, are we paying for it as a council, or is it going to get reimbursed through the developers that are able to build on it?
And that might be a given one, but it might be you might just need to get a bit of info.
Cool. And just
Grassmere, that'll be
the only other concern was, great that we're doing the work on the Fitzgerald Ave brick barrel mains renewal. That looks like a really disruptive project. Is there anything that we're looking at in terms of doing that faster or quicker than 3 years? Because you can imagine we're opening the new stadium, and then suddenly we're just going to have a massive amount of disruption on Fitzgerald Ave.
We are starting ground inspections in January to provide the contractors the option to look at trenchless. So obviously the market will decide whether trenchless is possible, but we're doing sufficient work to de-risk the project for contractors to bring trenches as an option, but we can't guarantee that we will be able to undertake the project by trenchless method. It may be open trenched, and we will look to speed the program as much as we can, but it is a large project in the order of 20 million, so it will take some time down for sure.
And just remembering what happened on Chewham and Harrow Street, I actually went down and had a look following one of these meetings where we, it kept getting red flagged and behind schedule. It was just such a massive job. So not to, I totally get it that there's a whole bunch of risk when you open up the road and then start looking at these systems. But have we learned any lessons from that project that we can apply to this one to try and get a better understanding of the risk?
I'm not familiar with that particular project, but we've done quite a number of other large. This is a large, deep sewer main, so we've got quite a lot of experience in these projects. So we're pretty confident. That's why the inspections the ground inspections will start in January will be quite extensive.
Okay.
And that effort up front will provide us and the contractor a lot of information to plan well ahead before we start to open the ground up.
Right. Okay. Thank you.
Kelly, and then we'll keep going. Yeah, and that's been moved by the Mayor and seconded by me.
Yeah, just following up on Melanie's point about the handing over of roads, I'm just thinking of State Highway 74, which goes through Burwood, Travis Road, sort of, and out through the estuary. One of the schools there's flagged some safety concerns, which we passed to NZTA. Is it likely to come back to us and therefore become our issue?
No, State Highway 74 is not one of the roads that's signalled for revocation. They only revoke roads, they only go through the revocation process for roads that have been replaced by. So, for example, Main North Road, Johns Road, the Northern Corridor motorway has replaced the bulk of Main North Road. The Johns Road section is the Johns Road bypass.
Okay, so we keep
so no, State Highway 74 is not on the plans.
Great. Okay, so that's been moved and seconded. All in favour? Against? That's carried. Great. Thank you very much. Stefan, do you want to do item 10?